here, I'll just go ahead. I'll start introducing myself. So I'm Danielle. I'm based here in Toronto. I formerly used to contribute mostly live photos and reviews to a blog called hellbound.ca. And now that has, sadly gone the way of the dodo, I guess. Now we have the riffs don't lie. So I'm super happy to add you on as the latest in this interview series. So thanks so much again for taking some time out. I'm sure it's been a little bit wild because the album came out last Friday for you guys, right? Officially.
Mhm.
How has it been since then? Have you been, doing these and, getting all of the positive responses?
Well, the initial feedback's been wave of feedback, I should say, has been excellent. Um, like we had no idea what to expect. It's not like there's a buttload of bands doing this type of music these days. And a lot of and it's quite of a drift or a departure from our other projects. So like I said, we really had no idea. It could have gone one way or the other, and so far we're very pleased.
Yeah, yeah. That was going to be my opening question, really, was that the first thing I saw was that, okay, the three of you are not strangers to each other. You've already played in two other projects that are, I believe, still active. But yeah, like you said, this is a totally different, this is a total tangent, still full of riffs, but totally different flavors. So why don't we start there? What kind of birthed this? Were you just sort of in the jam space and decided that you wanted to do something a little bit more techy and thrashy and yeah.
No, I always wanted to do thrashier style, like music, and just riffs in general. And then pandemic hit, and I had more time on my hands, and I just was looking for an excuse to play with my friends. That's basically it.
Nice. And Phil and Antoine were just like, yeah, sure, we'll do it, right?
Yeah, it just came together really easily. It was
I think Phil, you were trying to chime in there, but you're muted and I couldn't hear you.
Oh no.
No, still nothing.
Oh no.
now the drummer is quiet.
Yeah. Uh,
Uh-oh.
If he's hooked into a sound card, we're not gonna hear him.
I'm gonna answer for you, man.
Yeah.
or you could sign to us, like. Uh,
Prends le micro en bas à gauche, la petite flèche. Là, prends, I guess, ton micro d'ordi.
Computer
Sinon,
mic.
on va dans le chat. Le chat en bas.
Yeah.
Si
yeah,
t'as une
you're
carte de son,
getting
c'est un peu de la merde. Ouais, enlève ta carte de son.
See,
Puis
this is
prends le
why
micro de ton portable.
machines already trying to compromise us. They
Yeah,
know what
there
we're
you
all about.
go.
Yeah, yeah. I can only imagine how recording it yourselves was then, because I saw that you self-recorded all of this, just I guess
Um,
lockdowns.
Yeah, almost. Except drums.
Mm,
Yeah.
mm.
yeah. And I mean, technically, Antoine recorded my vocal parts. Well, he
Mhm.
was the
But I
he
still
produced me.
consider that
Yeah,
self-record,
yeah.
you know.
As far as the band is concerned, it's self-recorded.
Yeah.
Yeah. Was that just out of convenience because you were like, fuck it, we can't really do much else? Or this must have been recorded a little bit post, right? Because the demo came out 2021. So I was assuming that this was recorded a little bit later than that, maybe like out of that tunnel of lockdowns a little bit.
Sometime
Mm.
in 2022, actually, I
But I,
think.
I mean, we've been used to do that for a while now, like record on our own. I mean, it's just the way to go kind of now. At least for me, Claude too, he has everything he has at home to just record his parts. Same for me. My bass, my amp is here. Like it's so easy now. So, but drums is another story, obviously. So that's why we hired someone. But I've been recording at home since the beginning now. I mean, I wish one day I would record in studio. I don't know. It seems like now it seems so like something so exotic for me,
It
which is
is,
so
right?
weird. Yeah,
Yeah,
paying to go on a studio and like record with other people, for me it's so, I've never done that. But I mean, it's cool to do it at home. It's so easy and convenient and cheap and everything. And yeah, but yeah, that's how we do
For
it.
me, for as far as the vocals go, for me it was also a question of I wasn't sure what kind of pace I could establish. It's my first time like doing lead vocals on a record. So and thankfully we took our time too because
Yeah.
like you know while I may have I got a lot of pointers and I got a lot of help from like friends and vocalists in our little group. It took a while because I was going all out at first. And
yeah,
then it
yeah,
was like so the recording process was also a process of learning how to self-manage.
yeah. Anything
Like you
that you
had
would
your,
pass on, like anything you would pass on to people from what you've learned, because there's must be so many tips and tricks that you learned along the way. Maybe hard
Uh
you wish you knew before.
Take a breather or seven every few minutes. Take a break. Going all out is not necessary to get the desired results. I mean, most of the takes that we kept that ended up on the record were not even the takes where I went like, I was at the loudest or at the gruntiest. I don't know how I would
but
say
you
it.
you really learn on the spot, man.
Yeah,
Like
basically.
honestly, but that's cool though, because like when we started recording, it just kept getting better day after day, which
Mm.
is nice. And like every day you would come in, we would like listen, and like one day we would like, you would do takes, and we were like, oh, you can do that now. That's so cool. And like we would like build on that, and then go on. Now you get tired and like tired soon, and then a couple of days after you could just stretch it longer and do other stuff and like process like that, just come back to my place. And like that was pretty cool, I find.
It was
I
actually
mean, this is how you learn, man. This is, you just go on the spot and like you just do it. I don't know, and it
fun.
worked
It
really
wasn't
well.
without pain, but it was worth it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh
We
yeah.
lost Phil. I think he gave up on trying to connect to the
Yeah,
audio. So I'm try a
but
couple of times. So hopefully we can
I'll just
get
message
back
him.
with some input. Yeah.
Think.
It happens. Um, so yeah, I was gonna ask, after the initial, formation of, deciding that you wanted to do this project, recording the demo and everything. The first thing that kind of struck out at me, besides the cover art, oh yes, Phil, come back. Um, admittedly, I'm like going through the list of releases, what's coming out in the next couple of weeks, and I'm like, oh shit, look at that. That looks really cool. Maybe I'll give that a listen. Um, and so I imagine that at least one of you is probably super clued into like the world of science fiction, and all of these themes are definitely there. They're present in the album. The whole thing is kind of like this concept, right? About like, machines and tech and how they're affecting our whole human experience. So I'd love to talk a little bit about that and hear what the influences are, because I have some speculations about what, books and other kind of like pop culture things are playing into this. But yeah, Claude, you look like you wanna have a go at that.
Well, what kind of speculations?
Well, particularly the first thing I thought about, there's two books. There's one book by William Gibson called Neuromancer. And that's really like it's super, yeah, right? Okay,
Well,
sweet.
I mean,
the entire Sprawl trilogy, you hit the nail on the head. Is a big influence.
I think you're the first doing that, actually.
Yeah, it's true.
Yeah,
And
yeah,
that's
yeah.
that's why I'm here, you know? Um, and yeah, the other one would be Snow Crash, Neil Stephenson's Snow Crash.
I started reading Snow Crash last summer, and then I got busy with other stuff and I haven't finished it. But so it's in that realm for sure. There's like the other big influences, I would say, like Ghost in the Shell is a big one. More in the manga anime universe. I'm also like I think I mentioned at some other point, I'm a big Ursula Le Guin fan. Like books like Left-Handed Darkness, The Dispossessed. I just took from a whole range, and I kind of I'm not gonna lie, like for example, I'm a big Star Trek guy, but like Star Trek's way too, I feel it's not dark enough. to be like super influential, I think, like at least directly to Max, but yet like the album cover has been evoking the Borg for a lot of people.
That's what I mean, here's what sits on my
There
desk.
you go.
Hello. Phil, we were saying, I'm like, even though you're not here, with audio, you could always type in the chat, I've got it up here beside me. So if you want to chime in, if you've got, whatever it is that's, you want to contribute. Yeah, so that's definitely there. And I'm sure that everybody's going to be talking your ear off about how much this reminds them of, your Montreal, they're not contemporary to you, but Voivod. It's very Voivod-esque.
On
And
purpose.
yeah, okay, good. So I'm glad that that's not. So with them, I know that it's a lot about like they've talked about how the Montreal landscape and it being like very industrial and all of that also kind of plays into it. Would you say that that's kind of part of it for you, like just being in this kind of like, urban cityscape that kind of feels like you might as well be one of the Borg sometimes, I guess.
I don't know actually. I mean, I mean, I always thought Montreal was very different from a lot of other cities that I've traveled to or visited around the world. So I wouldn't say like it's funny, I never made the direct association between like Montreal being like an industrial space. It's definitely an urban space, but like so I don't know. I know I wouldn't say that's like an influence in the connection. I mean, this we're connected to the scene in terms of like the type of music that comes out of here and sort of like the I guess the general thrust to just do whatever the hell you want and no matter like what the influences are and just go for it. But so I mean there's a general thrust there like culturally and there's a connection that we can probably like uh point to or talk about or whatever. But I never no I wouldn't say that was a I don't at least speaking for myself, I don't know about the other guys. But I mean Phil lives in the suburbs like so he like he just the city grosses him out anyways.
Yeah. That's fair. I guess that's good, right? Because, the last thing that you want to think about is it being so bleak and gray out there that, it resembles this kind of like dystopian feeling that you're kind of like evoking with like the lyrics of the album and
Mhm.
everything and the general kind of message.
No,
Uh,
it's much more, if I can just add to that, like it's less in terms of like a geographic location. I would say it's more like a location in time, like our current situation where we're at. The lyrics are essentially inspired by exaggerations or like, not to say sort of like predictions or anything like that, but just like they're exaggerations of, as a means of or metaphors of like as means of thinking about like how our relationship to technology nowadays. So it's more, I'd say, yeah, it'd be more of a temporal thing, maybe.
Yeah, and I mean, again, hard to not think about that when we're sitting here, like, connected by screens, and I'm not sitting there in a microphone in, the basement of La Sala Rosa or somewhere that you might maybe be playing some gigs soon around. I see Antoine, you're smiling. Do you like that venue?
Maybe one day we played a
Yeah.
gig there.
Sal Rosa would be
Uh,
nice.
I mean, it's not a basement. Salvador's is actually a nice venue.
I've
I
only
love
been
that
to the
place.
basement venue of that place.
Oh
There's
yeah, the
like
other one
yeah, the other
in
one. Yeah.
front of it,
Yeah.
which is cool too. It's super small, but the actual Sal Rosa, very nice place. Yeah,
Are there
yeah.
any live gigs planned for you guys in the future? Like as you're releasing this and doing the whole wave of promotion?
Plan, but not yet confirmed.
Hmm.
Yeah. I mean,
But
we
we'll
want to
try.
play live. That's for sure. We want to play.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Ah!
Oh, he's there.
Yes.
Hey, ça va?
Got you.
He speaks.
I
Speak.
have faith.
Okay. Sorry.
But yeah, yeah. I guess it's gonna happen. We want to play live. It's a fun band to play live. It's
If
very
not a little
nice.
pain in the ass sometimes.
It's a little pain in the ass, but it's worth it, I find.
Yeah, it is. It
It's really
is.
worth it. It's really, really fun. And we want to play. Yeah, for sure.
Is it because it's like very like tuned in and technical compared to, you know, with the other bands that you're part of, you know, it's a little bit more like, you know, you got the funeral doom, you got the like crushing death metal, and this is like fast.
Yeah,
Uh
it's fast. For me personally, because it's different for them, I guess, especially Claude, which sing and playing, but for me it's fast. It's the fastest band. Kind of. I've been in a kind of faster band, but it's a different kind of fast. It's a energetic fast, I would say. Very yeah, energetic fast. Not technical fast that you're just like sitting there and watching your your instrument. Just
yeah, yeah,
playing the riffs and everything is just very fast and in your face. So
Mm.
it's a challenge, I guess, but it's fun. That's the
It's
thing.
it's more of an endurance challenging than a
Mhm.
sort of like overtly technical
Yeah,
challenging.
because
I don't know.
super technical stuff, you can just like put your feet in concrete and just like focus and just you go like you just practice at home. But this band is like it's trash. It's you want to mush, you want to like break everything. It's different.
yeah,
That's
yeah.
fun.
I've been trying how to think about a way to say this without like being rude to people who really enjoy that kind of tech death, but I personally don't really enjoy that kind of tech death very much. I want it to be something that makes me want to move.
Mhm.
And when I put on the album, you know, my process was saw the album art, thought it was cool, and I was like, okay, it might be that kind of, you know, just kind of like noodly tech death. And then I put it on and I was like, oh, wait, no, louder, louder. And I'm like in my kitchen and I'm like washing the dishes and like moving around. I'm like, shit, I'm gonna break something. Like, and it's definitely that kind of, yeah. So it definitely
If I
hit.
can be honest, I wouldn't even consider it that much technical, honestly,
Yeah,
but it's debatable. I don't know. Guess it depends who plays the instrument.
yeah,
Like for me, I don't consider it that much technical as like subgenre. Like
Mm.
it's very dead trash for me.
Mhm.
And yeah, I don't know.
And just to add on to what Antoine is saying, it's also not just a question of like, you know, in terms of like truthfully what we are or you know, a matter of definition. There's also a bit of principle behind it. I'm increasingly averted to the tech label because I find it increasingly meaningless, actually.
Yeah, yeah, it
And-
kind of is.
yeah,
For me, I find to be honest, like technicality, which is I think that it's the other way that people I find really find that tech is fast and it's a lot of notes.
yeah,
And for me, it's complexity. I
yeah,
find that I can find tech band that are slow. There are some. It's a matter of complexity and arrangement and
Mm,
like
absolutely.
composition. So definitely there can be slow technical bands. So yeah, I don't know. For me, it's but it's just not the label. Like you wouldn't be like complex technical, complex thrash metal. I don't
yeah,
know, but
yeah,
for me, this is what it is.
yeah,
And playing fast, I don't know. You just kind of get used to it. There's so many fast bands out there, but and sometimes fast is technical. I totally agree, but
yeah,
it's so much more than that, I find. And like I said, like our band is very focused on thrash grooves. Like some at the core, it's not that complex. It's pretty simple. It's I don't know,
makes you want to march,
grooves,
right?
riffs.
Like,
That's it.
yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah,
I mean, that's my
and
whole thing.
fun.
Like,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
yeah,
Exactly.
that's the
So,
thing is that I try
but
not
I'll
to.
I'll still take the technical label. I don't care. It's it's totally fine.
That's my
Like
whole point of like why I like to talk to bands instead of me just sitting back here and being a reviewer and being like, today I listened to this album and I thought it was XYZ kind of label and like distill things down. When I hear something that I like and that I connect with, I'm like, shit, I want to hear where this came from, what inspired this, what's going on in your head when you're creating it, and also, you know, what do you want people to get out of it, which it sounds like for sure you're planning, you're hoping to get some, you know, some shows and some of that kind of energy going on. And yeah, I was gonna ask something kind of related to like the community in Montreal, but I might kind of like save that for a second because I wanted to just come back to like the overall theme, right? Like the technology theme and the disconnection theme. Because something that I thought about was that making an album like this and talking about this in the lyrics, and then playing it live, I was feeling like that's the best remedy to these sort of symptoms, right? You know, people are very disconnected. They're very like, you know, if they're not on the screen, hey Phil, they're
Hello.
back on the phone, you know, and it's like we go from screen to screen to screen and we're always kind of like locked into something, and the one place and the one environment that you can really like let go of all of that hopefully is at a gig, like when you're in the pit.
Until someone pulls out their phone and starts filming the show.
Right? Tries to
Yeah.
catch Phil and just be like, hey shit, that's a real drummer, that's not a drum machine.
Yeah.
I was
Although
waiting for
sometimes-
him to get back. Yeah.
Sometimes we ourselves put that in question. I mean, considering that he recorded the entire album in like an afternoon, the guy's
Was on fire. I don't know, like Super Saiyan mode.
Yeah.
That day was a good day. I don't know. I don't know why. But
Yeah. Just like one take, and it's like, okay, I'm done. That's it.
not one take, but
Basically.
That's basically just a small exaggeration of the truth.
Yeah.
Actually, at the end of one of the songs, the long song Mainframe on the album, there's a small moment where you hear like a someone cursing in French. That's actually one of our producers, Xavier, like just not knowing how to react to Phil's ridiculous take. And we decided
Okay.
to do it.
Yeah.
was that the last song we did? I did.
Yeah, it was the last song of the day. It was the end of the session.
Yeah, and it was like the worst, like the most difficult one. So I was kind of surprised myself to nail it, you know. I
You're sitting
was
there with like the sweat pouring into your eyes. It's like, what? I actually did it.
pretty much. Mm.
Yeah, I think I just noticed that because I was listening to it as I was sitting here setting up and stuff, and I was like, okay, let me run through again and see if I have a favorite track. I don't know if I have a favorite track yet. I really like Outer Phase though. Is that
Nice.
the third
Nice.
one?
Not
Yeah.
many people actually said it was their favorite, and I'm happy you say this
Yeah.
is your favorite because
Yeah, same.
such a good track.
Yeah.
Sweet.
And this considering that like a month before we were set to record, I was having misgivings about it, and I was wondering. And then,
Why?
You made it
because-
longer.
Yeah.
It's kind of crazy.
I changed. Yeah, we changed the ending at the last minute, but like that song, like a lot of this, that's one of the things I like about this project, how naturally like everything just came together. But like that song especially, I think I wrote most of it essentially in like a day and a half or something. It was just like, oh yeah, this riff, oh yeah, that riff, oh yeah, that riff, and then everything just came together.
But you were second guessing yourself because like
Yeah, because it's a bit of an oddball on the album, right? Like
It's a weird song, but it's one of my
It's the
favorite to
heaviest.
play. Yeah, the heaviest. Yeah, for sure.
Heaviest
Yeah.
by far, I find.
Yeah, me too.
yeah, that's probably why I'm saying that one. Again, I try not to do that.
Nice.
Yeah, but now I'm gonna stick with it. And I really like the last track as well, the title track.
That's my favorite.
Yeah. I should plug it
I
more.
kind
you
of
know? Like-
on the edge of which one, but I tend to be one. It tends to be one of my favorite.
Yeah. So those two, especially like, you know, Matt, I can see it, you know, live. You bust that out, it's gonna be crazy. And Phil, you're gonna be sweating in your eyes, but it'll be so good.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think because we had our first and only gig late last February, and we played that song and it went over really well.
Yeah,
Yeah.
the end
Mhm.
ending the show with that track is actually perfect.
pretty cool. Yeah.
Yeah, when you don't know it though, it's a lot of tempo shifts. But I mean, like that was a conscious effort on the album. I'm like, I love these weird eccentric thrash breaks that don't seem to belong at first. I want them everywhere.
Yeah, but that's what made it, that's why I was like turning it up, and I'm just like, wait, that was really cool. Hang on, wait. And it really keeps things going, keeps it moving, and keeps it like really interesting and unique. And I think that's why, a lot of people are probably coming back and telling you like, hey, shit, this is really fresh. It has that kind of like throwback thrashy sound, but it's definitely something really new. So I want to make sure that, I congratulate you on that because it's for sure an achievement.
I mean, it means a lot because it's also a bit of a risk. I mean, like we know these songs, so like to us they're natural. But I mean, when someone else is hearing like so many shifts and breaks for the first time, it might actually just take away from the story you're trying to tell.
Yeah.
Honestly, at first on my side, I was like, there's people who are gonna be haters. I'm gonna hate it. Like no, but not for actually like the riffs and everything, but like the vocoders, the clean vocals are, for me, I think it are big risks, but that were totally worth it.
Yeah.
Vocoders, I was like, people are gonna be like, this is for Cynic, get away from that.
No, seriously. I saw a lot of good comments about it,
Yeah, and I was gonna ask. I'm glad that you went ahead and you started answering my next question, which I wanted to ask about that because I'm like, is that an actual? I don't actually like know that much about gear, so I'm just like, what is a vocoder even? Is it, and why did you choose to take that risk as well? Now that we're talking about it.
I mean, I had it in mind since the beginning. I was like, yeah, we're doing a sci-fi project. There's got to be a robot voice.
Yeah.
But I explored so many possibilities because I didn't want to use a vocoder because of that Cynic association. Not because I have a problem with Cynic. Like I love Focus, but I wanted to try to be fresh and do something different. So experimenting a lot. Ended up using a variation. Like we use two different tracks. There's two different robot tracks, and with a synth layer in the back, and it's a vocoder and another plugin that I use Ableton Live, which is another computer program for like that a lot of like electronic artists use. And I sampled and I wrote all the synth parts there. So I used a layer of vocoder and a layer of something else, which is the meat of what we hear on the album. Essentially, the vocoder just adds a bit of like that little extra spaciness, I guess, or that makes it a little off and quirky.
Yeah. It's fair to call it robot voice. That's probably what a lot of people are gonna
And most of the time too, like if you follow a lot, like for whoever decides to follow along with the lyrics, the sections of that are like in robot voice it's usually the machine talking.
Okay.
Or the metaphorical machine, if you will, just like entity that is
it fits with the narrative, right?
Yeah,
like,
exactly.
Yeah. Oh, and you're muted. We lost you. Yeah, no, Antoine, I can't hear. No.
It's your turn.
Yeah.
Phil, what'd you get?
Really? It works on my side.
Oh, there we go. We got you back. Yeah.
It works on my side.
Yeah.
I don't know. Maybe I'll try to talk in the mic.
Yeah. We got you now. I can hear you.
Okay. Forgot what I wanted to say. Oh no, yeah, but I wanted to say like you took many risks in it, like vocoder, and you added like a lot of like post metal, sorry. Sorry, my French accent. And like progressive stuff, like people were talking Mastodon, Opeth, and Expander, which is kind of the post metal thing. Which is it's not like pure. I was like, purists are gonna hate this. Like honestly, purists are gonna hate it.
Like thrash purists, you mean? Like
I don't know, just like someone who wants to hear hear a pure death metal record or a pure thrash metal
Thrash.
record.
You
Like
mean like,
it,
you mean like
I was
Antoine?
like, sorry.
You mean like Antoine? The first time I sent you the tag, you're like, this isn't thrash.
Yeah, this is that's true. But I was like, oh, I kind of wish that people would be like mad at it. I was like, oh,
Oh, okay.
no, but like, oh, they're gonna hate the vocoder. They're gonna be like, no, you can't do that. You cannot touch these like legacy bands that do it so well. But no, so far people are happy, which
Yeah.
I'm like, fuck yeah.
We prove you wrong.
Yeah, I'm good with that. Like,
And somebody said the other night, like totally not a like music related person, but he was talking about some other like a group that he organizes where they like get together and they talk about like topics and they have branches all over the place. And apparently there's like a big following of people online who just detest them like to the core. And he's like, you know what? You must be doing something right then. And even if a bunch of people did hate it, it's like, well, you fired them up in some way. And so either way, you know what, it works. And I mean, I would say to that, Antoine, to the purists, it's just like, okay, if you just want to listen to the same like handful of albums from the late 80s for your entire life, then you do you, man. But me, I'm like into it for the
Yeah.
innovation, the, you know, the
oh yeah.
freshness, like you know, otherwise you probably are the Borg, you know, like you will be assimilated. Like, sorry, I had to.
That's cool.
Yeah. I'm gonna have to watch a couple of those throwback episodes now tonight. Thanks for doing that. Before I kind of try to, we have to wrap it up at some point, even though, you know, we could geek out for quite a bit longer, you three. I did want to ask about, just to come back to the cover art for a second.
Mhm.
Who is that cover artist? Jesse Draxler?
Draxler.
I looked a bit at his other work. How did you connect with him? Like, what was the, like, he's not from Montreal, he's an American guy. Yeah, what made you choose him to represent this whole theme, you know, this like passion for you? Like,
I had a rough idea of what I was looking for, like thematically with the artwork. I mean, even with our demo that we did it entirely ourselves, like there's still a reference to like, you know, at least the humanoid face and the shape and everything. So something related to that. But like I was open to many different possibilities. Actually, it was kind of it was stressful because we were finishing up recording on the album and we still had no clue what was going to be going down with the like with the cover art. And I happened upon Jesse Draxler's portfolio. And I was like, oh, maybe we can work with this guy. Like he's doing some really cool stuff, like conceptually, and it's like very interesting. And I had this idea of going more like a photography slash montage, you know, like kind of route instead of just pure like, you know, like paint like a painting or just like a like a graphic design of some sort or whatever. And yeah, and then just funneling through his stuff, we came across this piece and we are just like, wow, yeah, that's it.
this
We
is
need
the
it.
one.
This
Right?
is
Yeah.
Yeah.
Nice. Nice.
So
Awesome.
boring story, really. It wasn't like some big Eureka inspiration moment. It's just we found it. We're like, this is perfect. Let's use it.
It works, you know, and you know, it kind of just like rounds things out really well, you know, like it's a whole package. It's clearly like, you know, something solid, like a solid theme that you guys have. And, you know,
I'm not tired of it yet.
yeah, no,
Yeah.
So far, I'm like, you picked something so good. I'm
Yeah.
like,
Yeah.
that's perfect.
Yeah, I can like see it. I can see the upcoming, you know, like four-sided long. You can tell him
Yeah.
four-sided long sleeve.
Yeah.
It's gonna
Oh.
happen. And when you all start playing live and you play Montreal and then Toronto and then New York or something, then I'll be there. Or, you know, might as well project into the future a little bit.
Yeah.
Yeah, hope to see.
No, they're definitely in the works.
Yeah, hell yeah. Well, I will be there in front of my usual thing is that like most people don't see my face because the camera is like this, and I'm just like trying to get in there, and I'm like trying to reach the drummer, which is always impossible, but I'll keep trying it for the rest of my life because
Trying for the drummers of this world.
yeah.
They're getting left behind
Yeah.
every time at every gig.
Yeah.
For real, for real.
Uh,
Drummer's curse.
yeah, it's the sacrifice you make. What are you gonna do?
Exactly.
Yeah. All right, so the three of you, Phil, Antoine, Claude, thank you so much. Thank you so much for the riffs, for the enjoyment, which, you know, I'm sure I'll keep repeating this quite a bit in the future. Best of luck, and I can't wait to see, you know, everything that comes of this, and, you know, how it plays out for you. And thank you for taking the time, and yeah, I wish you all the best.
Thanks for having
Well,
us.
thanks for having us. Yeah.
Thank you.
Thanks for the praise and the enthusiasm, and we'll definitely play in Ontario / Toronto at some point. Definitely come say hi.
Yeah, awesome. Okay, have a good night.
You too.
Have a good night.
Bye.
Enjoy the Star Trek.
Thanks, I will. Bye.
Bye.